have Halloween coming up in a couple of weeks. Actually, it's already started because Halloween is right behind Christmas, the biggest holiday for retailers. So everybody wants to get in on the action. And for $60 or so a person, you can go to Busch Gardens or Universal Studios in Orlando and get the bejeebers scared out of you. But we don't need to go to Busch Gardens to get scared. We live in a culture that thrives on fear. We live in a society in which many people feel unsafe and at risk. And we go to great lengths to get safe, to be safe, or at least to make ourselves feel as if we're safe. Take guns, for instance. In the last year, there's been a proliferation of the sales of guns. Concealed weapons permits up some 20% in the state of Florida. And there's quite a debate about gun ownership. In fact, our last Socrates Cafe, that's the topic we discussed, guns. And there are some people who feel safer if there are more guns, and there are some people who say it's less safe if we have more guns. And playing on the fear factor, there are some people who would say we should be afraid if people start taking away our guns, and then other people who say we should be afraid if everybody gets their hands on guns. So both sides of that argument play the fear card. And then there are gated communities all over to help people feel safe. I don't know if they really do. That's one of the comedian Jerry Seinfeld's jokes. What's the purpose of gated communities in Florida? It's to keep the old people from getting out. So I don't know if it's to keep people from getting in or getting out. But they're all over the place. Insurance policies to keep us safe, protected, to guard against any bad eventuality. You're in good hands. You're in good hands. You're safe. You don't have to be afraid. You're covered. The fact is that compared to most people in this world, we have very little reason to be afraid. And yet, we feel at risk. We have these feelings of dread and anxiety, which keep us locked up and locked down. I could identify at least three kinds of fear. There's fright, for instance. Fright is that instinctive fear designed to protect us from physical harm. Then there's worry or anxiety, the fear of what might happen in the future. And then there's just dread. Dread is the fear generated by life's fundamental uncertainty. But the fact is that fear underlies so many of our maladies and emotions. Anger and depression, for instance. Anger and depression are simply secondary emotions which really stem from a deeper emotion, which is fear. And that fear is used to control and manipulate us. Take politics, for instance. Politics is a battleground of fear. The various political parties tell us they can offer a solution or a system which can keep us safer than the other guy. And that was particularly true in the last election. You remember that commercial? The red phone rings in the middle of the night, and the question, the subtitle is, if the phone rings in the middle of the night, who would you like to answer it? Who will keep you the safest? So politicians are adept at using fear. Marketers are adept at capitalizing on fear as well. Who can forget the other commercial of the little lady alone in her apartment who's slipped and fallen, who's writhing in pain on the floor, nobody there, and she screams out, "I've fallen and I can't get up." If she'd only purchased Life Alert, she would have been safe and protected. And can't you just imagine yourself on the floor, alone, afraid, and you run for that phone to dial the 800 number to order your Life Alert? I mentioned this before, but sometimes unscrupulous mechanics will take advantage of people, especially, not exclusively, but especially women, when trying to sell them things related to cars. Connie had it happen again last week when she went to get her oil changed. I won't mention the name of the business, but they're infamous for selling additional products. And I bet not many of you have gotten out of a $15.99 oil change for less than $75. They go to school to learn this stuff. So she said, no, 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 but just let me check your air conditioner filters before you leave. And some cars have little disposable filters for their air conditioners, if you didn't know that. Many don't, some do. So he popped the glove compartment open and quickly removed the filters, and they were dirty. He said, oh my God. If you don't get these replaced right now, your air conditioner system could fail, and it's going to cost you at least $1,000. But he didn't know that I've indoctrinated Connie to say no. So she came home. She thought twice, but she came home, and she told me, and I said, well, number one, your air conditioner is not going to fail. The chances of an air conditioner in a car failing because of a clogged filter are about 10,000 to 1. He also didn't tell her you can take the thing out in about 2 minutes. So we popped it out and we looked at it, and they were dirty, hadn't been changed in 5 years. But he didn't tell her that you could go down to the auto parts store and get the same $75 filter for $20, which I did. So, but imagine driving out of the oil place, and in the back of your mind is planted this thought: my air conditioner could fail today. It's going to cost me $1,000. I might as well just go ahead and spend the $75. It's a very powerful motivator, fear. Even religion manipulates fear to kind of make the sale. I mentioned Busch Gardens and Universal horror nights, and they're really spectacular, as some of you may have seen them. And I've actually been to some Christian, in the old days, Christian haunted houses, or Christian Halloween horror nights. And basically, they're like any other haunted house or haunted horror night, only at the end of the trail, you get a hellfire and brimstone sermon delivered. And their express purpose, the organizations or churches that put these things on, their express purpose is to scare the hell out of people. Literally, they will tell you that. Because they believe that if you don't accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, you're going to end eternity writhing and burning in a literal hell. So after this long trek through these horrible scenes, the invitation is offered, and because you wouldn't want to drive home, risking the chance that you might get in a car wreck and not have a second chance. So even religion can manipulate our fear and coerce us. Fear is a powerful motivator and marketing tool, but it's also a crippling addiction which saps our psychic and emotional and spiritual energy and leaves us immobilized and depleted and in bondage.